A record store changed my life. Not because of one album, not because of one purchase. It changed my life because every time I walked through the door, I had no idea what I might discover. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dave's Side One. I'm Dave, your host, who learned that some of the best musical education happens while standing between two rows of record bins. Over here at Art of Listening Records, where every record has a story, and every story starts on Side One. Today I'm taking you back to Smokey's Records in Salt Lake City, the record store that helped shape my musical life. You know, today we can search for almost any artist in seconds. We can type in a name, we can ask for recommendations. An algorithm can tell us what listeners like us also enjoyed, and that can be useful. But walking into a record store is different. You're not always searching for something specific. Sometimes we're just simply searching. We look at album covers, we recognize a musician's name, we notice a record on the wall. We hear somebody mention a band we've never considered. Discovery happens one record at a time. So let's jump right into a walk down Dave's memory lane. Smokey's Records became one of those places for me. Walking into the store felt like stepping into a much larger musical world. There were artists I knew, and there were albums I wanted. But there were also rows of records that represented things I had not heard yet. Every bin held possibilities. You could start with one band you already liked, then notice another album because the musicians were connected, or because the cover looked interesting, or because somebody in the store told you it was worth hearing. That kind of discovery had a human element. It felt personal. A good record store teaches you without announcing that a lesson has begun. You learn labels, you learn producers, you learn which musicians played together. You begin recognizing cover artists, catalog numbers, and different pressings. You discover that the guitarist from one album also appeared on another. You realize that the band you thought arrived from nowhere had an entire history before the record you knew. Nobody hands you a syllabus. You learn because curiosity keeps sending you back into the bins. When I look at my collection now, I can still see the influence of places like Smokey's. Not only in the individual records I brought home, but in the way I learned to explore. One album led to another. One band led backward to its earlier work. A songwriter led to another artist. A producer connected records that seemed completely unrelated. The collection grew through those connections. The store didn't simply help me acquire music. It taught me how to follow music. And when a store like that closes, a city loses more than another place to shop. It loses a meeting place, a place to ask questions, a place to overhear a recommendation. A place where an album cover could stop you before you knew anything about the music. A place where the person behind the counter might know exactly what you should hear next. The inventory may eventually move somewhere else, but the atmosphere is much harder to replace. I may not be able to walk into Smokey's Records again, but I still carry the store with me. It's there whenever I take a chance on an unfamiliar album, whenever I read the credits, whenever I follow a musician from one record to another, whenever I walk into a record store without shopping list and allow curiosity to lead. That's what Smokey's gave me, not just records, a way of discovering them. So on tonight's Side One Spin, I want you to tell me what record store helped shape your musical life. Could it be a large chain or a neighborhood shop, a mall store, a tiny used record store that only a few people remember? Tell me the name, the city, and what made it special. Let's give some of those stores their flowers while the memories are still with us. Well, that's it for today's Side One. Thanks again for spending a little time with me. Please keep that needle in the groove, and we will talk to you tomorrow when I talk about an album that helped me understand there was much more to Journey than the Steve Perry years. We'll talk to you tomorrow.